Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 14 of the Unwrapped Leader Podcast, where we get raw, real, and relevant in the new network marketing and helping you become a gifted leader in your business. My name is Teisha Dorianna.
And I'm Dracy Dewar.
And today's episode, we are going to be talking about a fixed versus flexible schedule when it comes to working your business from home or really anywhere that you work your business. But before we actually get into the topic, Dracy and I do have some exciting news to share with you guys. We want to just give you a little bit of a life update. So if you've been following along, you probably heard that I got married recently. I've been waiting for this wedding for about probably over 3 years now. And finally it happened just a couple weekends ago. So if you're watching on YouTube, I am married. We got the wedding band on finally. And this is my first episode filming after the wedding. I'm super excited to be back, but Ryan and I have waited, like I said, over 3 years. So we're so excited to have had our dream wedding. It was definitely well worth the wait. And it was just so nice. I think one of my highlights was definitely just being together with all of my family in one place at one time. And we haven't been able to do that forever, it seems. So it meant so much to me to have everyone there, all of our loved ones. I mean, except for you, Dracy. I wish you could have been there, of course. But, we had everyone. We had our big wedding that we wanted, and it was tons of fun. It was a beautiful day. I remember we were stressing a bit about the weather the week before because it was like maybe thunderstorm, but I was just like, I can't control that. I'm over it. I'm excited to get married and just finally do this regardless of what any kind of outside circumstances are. And just because of, this business that we do as well, this industry has allowed us to have our dream wedding. And we're just so proud and excited that we have finally been able to tie the knots. So that's my exciting news. And Dracy has really exciting news to share with you guys now.
Well, first of all, Teisha, congratulations. So can you share everybody your full name now as Mrs.?
Yes, so I am Teisha Zapernyuk now. I still go by Teisha Dorianna. Yes. Oh, actually, Dracy, this is funny, and this is just all about, we talk about how our podcast is always raw, real, and relevant. Dracy, we are both Teisha Dorianna on the screen right now, our names. It is what it is. I just noticed that. I was like, that's funny. But yeah, I still go by Teisha Dorianna just for like business purposes. But my real name is Teisha Zapernyuk. And here's something fun I'll show you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're not, I will describe it to you. But Ryan and I went on a little getaway to Kelowna the week after our wedding. We had tons of fun. Weather was beautiful. We love anywhere hot. We actually got some spontaneous tattoos.
Oh, lightning bolt.
We got a lightning bolt kind of like to symbol. Well, first of all, it's kind of a Z. So it kind of symbolizes our last name, Zap. And of course, with the lightning bolt, Zap, and all that kind of stuff. So I finally convinced Ryan to get a tattoo. That was his first one. And I've asked him to get one with me before. And that was the day. That was the moment he agreed to. So it was exciting. It was fun.
It's so funny you say that because I always say, I actually even created a brand around called The Original Sin, meaning sin being SIN, Skin, Ink, Nurture, to help people protect their stories, because the tattoo shares as a story. So what a great story for you with that fantastic tattoo. That's something. So anybody who wants to see any of your photos, they just can go to hashtag Zappy Ever After. Is that where they can go and see all your photos from your wedding?
Oh, yeah. We had our hashtag Zappy Ever After. So I think some people used it. So you might find some photos if you search the hashtag on like Instagram or Facebook. But I also posted a bunch of photos on my Facebook profile too. So, the ones that I got back from the photographer so far.
They're gorgeous. They're absolutely stunning. It definitely was a fairy tale wedding to watch. And for those of you that are just kind of coming in here, as I know, I've known Teisha since the day she was born. Her mother is one of my best friends. And we grew up together, and you guys will read that in the book. But what is super exciting about that is my youngest daughter is actually born on Chantel's birthday. So Teisha's mom's birthday. And that youngest daughter ended up having her baby on Teisha's wedding day. So the 13th of August is a super special day for all of us. Again, we get to celebrate. And what even takes this next level is one of Chantel's granddaughters, or Teisha's niece, happens to be born on my birthday. So there's lots of beautiful connections within our family that we get to share and celebrate together and spend especially here with the audience. So not only did I have one new grandbaby, I actually had two new grandbabies in the month of August. So my oldest daughter had a little boy, and his name is Lyric, and he's absolutely gorgeous, and he's like this little bundle of joy, but he puts his legs out and his arms out, and he's this long, lengthy, lean little Lyric, as we call him, super cute. And then Casey, my beautiful baby, had a baby girl, and she's like this little chunky monkey, and her name is Rhea Moon, and she was actually born on not only a full moon, but a super full moon. And so she's got some fabulous energy about her, and we can't wait to watch them both grow up. And so now I'm not only a mother of 4, I am a grandmother of 4, and all my babies have all had a baby and blessed me. And anybody who does know me super closely, I always said I didn't have kids because I really wanted any kids. I had them because I really wanted grandkids. Now, I've been blessed with beautiful children, don't get me wrong, and I've been incredibly blessed to do this business. So because my priority was always to be a mother at home with my children, and the fact that I was able to do a business that allowed me to be the full-time income earner and still put motherhood first. And now being a grandparent is an incredible role for me. And so the flexibility for this business in this industry is in one of my highest values. And so it's so exciting. We get to talk about being fixed and flexible. So I guess, do you want me to keep going, or would you like to add anything to my new family?
Just congratulations. That's so amazing to have both your daughters around. How many days apart did they have their babies?
They are 10 days apart. The babies are 10 days apart.
10 days.
So the third and the 13th.
They'll have fun together raising them, and you guys have such an amazing, like, tight-knit family. I always love seeing your guys' pictures of you guys are always together at beach days and stuff like that. So that's just so amazing. I'm so happy for you and your family, your growing family. So I will just quickly, if I can, I'll talk a little bit about fixed and flexible and what we're talking about when we use those terms, and then I'll let you get into the whole being your own boss around that. Okay.
Excellent.
So we, like Dracy said, we're going to be talking about fixed versus flexible when it comes to working your business online, from home, in person, basically anywhere that you go and work your business. And if you are working an online business in today's world, we know that it could be very challenging. We're not sure what we could be flexible in, what we're supposed to be fixed with. And sometimes when we work from home, especially, it's sometimes hard to set those boundaries. So we wanted to just dive a bit more into that. And actually, flexibility is a huge reason why people get started in this industry. They feel like a lot of people who say they don't have time for this, they don't not have time for this, right? Like, people do this so that they can have more time in their life. They can create that flexibility. However, with flexibility, with a flexible personal life comes a disciplined business life as well. So we wanted to chat more about that. What should be flexible and what should be fixed. So when we talk about fixed, we're basically meaning every detail is planned out to a T. There's not really any kind of room for change or openness. And it allows for consistent brand management. And you kind of know what to expect. Everything is fixed and planned out. When we talk about flexible, we're meaning you kind of have an idea what the plan looks like, but there's different routes and different approaches that can be taken with this. And it allows you to respond to change as well. Change in your industry, change in your customer base. And it's not always consistent, which, there's pros and cons of both. But we do think that some things should definitely be fixed in your business and some should kind of stick more to flexible. So Dracy is going to get into that. Let's talk about BYOB, being your own boss, and what that kind of looks like when we're creating our schedules.
Well, I have to say, like, coming into the industry, when I did, I was a single mom on social assistance, and I had one daughter at the time, and she was home. And so one thing for me was the flexibility. And I think every presentation I have done in my entire career, when I would say why I do what I do, it was the flexibility and unlimited income opportunity. Now, what comes with flexibility, which my nature is quite naturally flexible and spontaneous. But again, like I've shared before, you measure someone's success based on their backbone, not their wishbone, and how incredibly important it is to have some discipline. And that's where learning to be fixed in my business was really important. And so kind of looking at what were the things that I needed to fix and what things that I need to be flexible on. And so our last episode talked about the 90-day action plan. And Teisha, you did an excellent job sharing on tips on having a 90-day action plan. And so that's where, when I took my 90-day action plan, I knew what I needed to schedule that were fixed. So how many presentations I needed to do, whether they were product presentations or whether they were opportunity presentations, presentations. And now in the world of social media, again, what kind of lives or, what kind of things that I'd be posting. And I know, Teisha, you're going to do a really great job on fixed and flexible in that. But I know for my business, it was really important, the routines that I created, the business hours that I structured, and where I needed to be flexible. Now, at that time, I was like a work from home because I had my daughter. And then as my children got older and I became more free, it became a work from anywhere situation for me. And hence what has been in the last 5 or 6 years for myself, I've been able to take my computer and my phone and go anywhere and work from anywhere. So that's been super awesome. But because I've really worked hard on being fixed in the areas of income producing activities, things that build my business, the dibs and the dims, the things that make me money. And so that's kind of where I needed to really be scheduled in those things. The other thing I want to talk about is now if we just sit here and think about fixed and flexible so you can flourish. And these are the flourishing in the areas of value. So I think when I fiercely protect, I talk about my frame of mind. I talk about my family, my finances, my fitness, my friendships, and my future. And so if you actually take on, okay, when you have your family, it's so important. Yes, you want to be flexible, but you got to have these boundaries because they think that you work from home, that they can call you, show up anytime and do things like that. So that's why it's important to always have something fixed with your family and even with your friends. And so what I mean by that is I already know birthdays are fixed into my calendar. I taking every day a moment with my family. Like, so if that's dinner with your family every night, that's something that is fixed. Reading your kids' bedtime stories. Like, so you just consciously need to think, what have I fixed? In my case, when I had my kids, one weekend every month, I always definitely took a Friday, Saturday, Sunday where it was dedicated to my family. So I fixed that. I took a week off every quarter, and I always had a month off at Christmas. So those things were fixed for my family. And same with my friendships. The friendships of my inner circle that I valued, I always made sure that we put time. Still to this day, I have girlfriends that we make sure that we fix time for each other. And again, there's always time for flexibility when it comes to emergencies and things that are out of your control. Then again, because my values of family and lifestyle is super important. If that's the case, that's the case. I'm not putting pressure on myself if that was to happen. So when it comes to your future, this is why it's important, like Teisha and I creating this brand, next week we're sitting down and we're fixed a time so we can plan out our future for the next 12 months and work on our 90-day action plan. So this is really important, setting our goals. So again, you got to fix that in your business. When I talk about finances, what I fix for my finances, again, having a plan, having your budgets, having your buckets, how you allocate your money. This industry teaches you how to make money, but it certainly doesn't tell you what to do with that money. And so that's why it's important, again, to take the time and have a plan for how you can fix your finances as well. And then talking about your frame of mind, and I've saved this one for last, is the frame of mind, because it's important that we put fixed time aside to read the right, things for the brain to grow, like all those sort of things. Like, you just make sure that you're going to something that is of value for protecting your frame of mind and your mindset. And so you put yourself in a situation for that as well. And then I didn't talk about fitness, but that probably one is one to, again, based on where you are in your life and your lifestyle. Again, you need to fix time aside to be healthy so you can be at your best performance, because we know our health is number one. And if we don't take care of that part of it in ourselves, the rest will all fall to pieces. So again, it's just sitting down and being mindful of what you can be fixed and what you can be flexible in all those areas. And then to help support all this, it's how you be focused, how you have to follow up. And last but not least, is how you have fun in your business. So I think we really highlighted that. Was there anything else I can talk or share, or you'd like to add, Teisha?
You did such a great job. It really resonated with me too, because when I plan out my schedule, I call it my non-negotiables, and anything family related, with Ryan, any date night, whatever, I put my non-negotiables on the calendar. That is the first thing I do when I'm planning out my month. And then everything gets worked around that when it comes to my business. And I do have things that are fixed in my business, but like I said, depending on where your values, priorities are, my family does come first. So any kind of family events, birthdays, I actually have a gender reveal party coming up for one of my brothers. So that's fixed on the schedule, right? I'm going to be there for family events and all the non-negotiables. So those always go on my calendar first before I put anything else on there when it comes to my business.
Well, I guess what we're trying to really say is whether you're in this business, part-time, full-time, or big time, you have to treat it like a business. And it just, again, setting the boundaries and setting the time, and also allowing yourself I guess really the flexible part of this is you are in control. Mm-hmm. And that's the part that I love about it the most. So now with the social media being a whole new network marketing way of doing business, it certainly puts in different challenges, because we got, the challenge of distraction, and the challenge of consistency and getting, all the things that you want to do to be, successful on social media. Would you like to highlight everybody how you can run your business so it's fun and, in a fixed and flexible sort of way?
Yeah, absolutely. So social media, like when me and Dracy plan our social media, there are certain things that are fixed, but we also make sure that we're being flexible, and that is really important to us. I think Dracy and I are both very, I feel like, kind of spontaneous. We like kind of living, posting content in the moment. And this way it allows us to adapt to change and just adapt to the new trends and anything coming out, right? Like, I think there's a lot of also just even social media managers out there where when they actually produce content, say for a company, right? People like to schedule out social media, like their feeds or platforms, like a whole month in advance. And not saying there's anything wrong with that. Like I said, I think there's pros and cons to everything. One of the pros being, well, you're going to be very consistent. Everything is scheduled, everything's there. But the con being, you're not able to necessarily keep up with the trends. You're not able to kind of speak in the moment and speak to, specific people at a specific time. So when it comes to being fixed on social media, one thing that we have fixed that doesn't change at all is our brand pillars, because we know what we want to share with people. We know what our audience wants to hear. And so our brand pillars being leadership, building community, mastering mindset, and branding, those are the topics we focus on. That's what we specialize in. That's what we want our audience to know more about. And so those are fixed. We really, obviously, we do share once in a while some fun like life events going on and stuff. But for the most part, and we do that more on stories, I would say, for the most part, but our feed being most like it's our brand pillars. Those are the things that we are fixed on. That does not change. Another one being our scheduling consistency. So how often we post. So we make a commitment to posting minimum 5 times a week. And if we get more, then great. Sometimes we come out with some last minute content. That's where we're kind of flexible, right? 5 times a week minimum. That is our consistency of posting. But sometimes we do think in the moment, this would be very relevant right now, right? This is real. This is happening. Let's post about it now. And so that's why we like to do that. And especially with this podcast, when we come up with topics, we don't have we have ideas in the back of our minds, but we also like to think what's relevant right now. What do people want to hear about right now? And that's how we're able to come out with content that is relevant to all of you guys, our audience. And so it also aligns with our brand pillars and what we want to share as well. Another one is showing up on a consistent schedule. So making sure that you're showing up, and maybe how you show up, that's actually part of the flexibility of it is how you show up, but making sure that you are showing up. That's not negotiable. You are showing up, and I recommend, if you're growing a network marketing business, and you're looking to make this a full-time gig, or you really want to see success with it, you're showing up every single day. It might not be huge in a huge way, but just the littlest thing, show up every single day, touch your business every single day, and make that non-negotiable for running a successful business. And then when it comes to flexible, like I said, the content, which is how you show up. You're 100% showing up, but how you're showing up might look different based on whatever it is, right? The time of year, the time of the month, something trending happening in the world, right? Especially now with on Instagram, we have reels, and there's always new trends happening. There's new trending sounds. We want to jump on those trends. We don't want to just plan that all a month in advance, and all of a sudden we're missing out on all the trending stuff. We want to get involved in what's happening now. And that's how we're able to continue to grow, is by staying relevant. And so, like this podcast, we always like to keep it raw, real, and relevant with you guys. And that's what we strive to do with our content as well. Always keeping it raw, real, and relevant, and just responding to change in any ways we can, changes in the market. Just, you never know what's going to happen, what's going to come up. And we just like to be ready and prepared for that. So that's kind of how we go about the fixed and flexible. And I'm going to get into just how we kind of build our content calendar. Dracy, do you have anything to add to the whole fixed and flexible portion of social media that you would add?
I think, well, just as an example of our flexible, we did our 90-day, showing them how to be what you're doing now affects you 90 days from now. We did the content planner on our last episode of Just You and I, and the fixed and flexible became just part of what we said. And somebody actually in the feed actually said, wow, fixed and flexible. They like that. So that's why we decided to make this actual episode expanding on what fixed and flexible is. So we didn't plan that. This is us being spontaneous and being quite flexible in the content that we're sharing with them today.
Yeah, absolutely. Like everything that you guys comment, that you guys hear, and kind of how you respond to us, that's how we always will plan our next week. We're not fixed in the sense of we need to talk about this on, this week and this on it's all coming from you guys and how you react to what we post and what's happening in the moment. So thank you. That was a really great example. And then when it comes to our content calendar, I want to talk a little bit about how me and Dracy actually build that. So if you're looking to kind of have a more consistent schedule and not feel so overwhelmed with planning out so much content, like I said, there are people who will plan out all their captions, all their pictures, like a month in advance. I could never do that personally. And I'll never do that because I just feel like, one, it's like way too much work to do that. I would rather speak from the heart and speak in the moment because I think it's much more relevant. It's more likely to get more engagement, especially when it's talking about something relevant in the moment. But what we like to do is we have basically this sheet with boxes, and there's 5 boxes for 5 days a week, and we'll put each date in every box for every week. And basically we start jotting down what we're going to be what we're going to post about every day. It's not going to be a whole, like I said, description, caption, photo. It's just a topic. What do we want to talk about that day? So a couple things that we actually have fixed on that schedule. Well, first of all, the schedule is fixed. Like we make that schedule and we follow it. But how we provide that content, what that content looks like is a lot more flexible. So for example, something that is fixed, on every single Monday, we post a quote from our book. You guys probably noticed, if you do follow us on Instagram at the Unwrapped Leader, that we have this teal background with this pink gift box. It actually looks just like the gift boxes in our book. And we pull a quote from our book every single Monday and share that with you, as well as just a bit of more of a description, just more details on the quote in the caption. So that's fixed. But again, we don't really come up with the caption necessarily, or really take a look at what that quote's going to be until maybe the week before, right? We're not necessarily planning that months in advance. We kind of think in the moment how it could be relevant to today. And then every single Wednesday, we release a podcast episode. You guys are listening to this maybe on a Wednesday, or if you're watching it a few days later, it might be later. But every Wednesday, we release a podcast episode, which means we also release a feed post about that podcast, what you're going to learn from that podcast, what the takeaways are going to be, so that you guys can decide if this might be a podcast that you want to listen to, if this episode is going to be relevant to you, right? So we release that every single Wednesday. That is fixed. We don't really change that part. So when we're planning our content calendar, it's crazy. I remember our first one probably took us maybe half hour, and now it just feels like 5 minutes and it's done, because we know Mondays are quotes, Wednesdays are podcast episodes, and then Tuesdays we like to get creative, and sometimes we'll do a trivia Tuesday. You guys have seen those. We've had really great response on those. We've done Tip Tuesdays, giving you guys some network marketing tips. We've done Transformation Tuesdays, whether that's sharing a transformation with us or a transformation from someone else in the industry. And we've also done Testimonial Tuesdays. So actual testimonials and reviews that we've received from people on our book, on our brand. So we like to get creative on Tuesdays, and we kind of just alternate. We'll do like week 1 is going to be a trivia Tuesday. Week 2 is going to be a tip Tuesday. And we just do something regarding our industry and our brand pillars in that Tuesday. And then on Thursdays and Fridays, that's when we like to really shuffle around our brand pillars. So we like to get out at least one reel a week. We know reels are a fast growing feature right now on Instagram. And so we usually take one of our brand pillars and we create a reel around it every single week. So I'll usually scroll through the reels page, look for some trending audios, and then just kind of find one that fits a topic on one of our brand pillars, such as a reel on mastering mindset or a reel on leadership. That could be so broad, right? So we have so many different things to talk about when it comes to our leadership pillar. And actually, if you guys go back and look at episode 5, or watch episode 5 on YouTube, or even listen to it on the podcast, that's when we talked about the gift of branding, and we actually teach you guys how to come up with those brand pillars. So if that's something you guys want some training on, make sure you go back and check out episode 5 as well. And then lastly, we like to have one carousel post every single week. So we will also shuffle around our brand pillars. So if we're doing, say, a reel on leadership that week, we might do a carousel post, which is essentially like a 5, you could have up to 10 slides in there, but let's just say on average, there's usually 5 to 10 slides. And basically it's those posts where you can scroll through. Usually people are giving like 5 tips for this or 7 tips for that. And you just get to scroll and look through tips, or maybe there's 5 ideas about something. So we like to do a carousel post. And so, like I said, if we're doing, say, a reel on leadership that week, then maybe I'll do a carousel post on mindset that week as well. And then we just alternate all throughout our content calendar. So those are some of the things that we do. And you can kind of see how our content calendar, it's fixed, yet it's very flexible as well, because we always come up with our content in the moment. And we always make sure that we're relevant to the moment as well.
And one of the things that has helped us that is fixed is we've written that book. And so we technically have all this content that we get to share and work through. And when we talk about those quotes, there's 100 quotes in the book. And so we've got 2 years worth of Monday quotes. So it was definitely worth the time and effort that we did in putting together that book. And it's definitely made what we do for sharing our content and social media for you in that sense. So that's probably the best part. And then we still get to be flexible in how we share that to the world.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you.
Well, I guess that wraps it up for Fixed and Flexible. I certainly hope you got some great valuable nuggets in there. And I just really, really want to say this business is about you shining. And, when we talk about stress, the only reason why this business would be anything be stressful for you is that you're not doing what you're really at heart-centered value. And when you're doing something that you're really passionate about, it's not stress. It's just diamonds under pressure. And it's here to help you shine. So I certainly hope you got some nuggets. Please share in the comments anything that really stands out for you. If you have any questions about the conversation that we've had, or you'd like to see anything more, please share, as well as go and subscribe, and most importantly, go on our wait list if you haven't done it already to www.theunwrappedleader.com, and we are still giving away some free books, a couple of free books, and so hopefully we will be launching that very soon. So thanks for joining us, Teisha. Congratulations again, and it's been really great sharing and doing this with you.
Yeah, thank you, Dracy. Bye, guys.
Bye.